Hello, everybody. My, hold on. There it is. So, hi, everybody. My name is Harry Tharmakumar. I work for Microsoft. I'm really excited to be here. I am very, very mindful that I am the last presentation of the day. So, a lot of you may be tired a little bit and a bit weary in your feet. So, we'll make this as interactive and as impactful as possible. That video for me is the reason why I do what I do. In my day job, as it was presented before, a lot of the things I do is run our partner ecosystem here at Microsoft. So I look after all our PC notebooks and the Windows and Office licenses that are designed with our partners such as Dell, HP, Lenovo, all these famous names that you may know. And we partner through all our distribution engines like the Ingram Micros and Tech Datas and Cynixes of the world. And that's in my day job. But in my part-time evening role, driving awareness and what Microsoft drives in awareness around assistive technology is something which I'm completely passionate about. And when you watch a video like that, which we just showed, the emotions that draw up are you can't help but not get emotionally involved. As a parent myself, I've got 2 young girls. You want the best for them and you want the most for them. And when you see how there are a lot of other people in the world that don't have the opportunity to have such a level playing field, having companies like Microsoft who actually create technology to give everybody a chance really does make me feel as to why I work for a company that drives an impact. So that's what I do. So you heard Microsoft's mission statement before, and I think I've spoken to a few of you guys who have come to the booth and heard me talk about what does Microsoft do and why are we here and what is this all about? Microsoft has this mission statement that is to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. When we talk in the framework in context of an event like this, nothing more makes more sense when you talk about the fact that it's everybody. Not able people, it's everybody. So it means everybody on all walks of life has the opportunity to achieve more. And when we talk about organizations, it's what's the role that companies like Microsoft plays and other tech companies that are here today have a responsibility to everybody to help them achieve more. So we drive this from the forefront of driving organizations, and we do it in terms of impacting people. And that's what Microsoft stands for. So when we talk about accessibility, accessibility is a responsibility and an opportunity. And it's everybody's responsibility. So when we look at the work that we do and the people that we have, a lot of the people here at the Microsoft stand that's here, these are volunteers that work at Microsoft doing all various types of jobs. They give up that time because they truly believe that it's everybody's responsibility to drive awareness on assistive technology. So when we look at a couple of stats, and I know a few things were mentioned before, 1 in 5 people have a disability who may need assistive technology. And only 1 in 10 have access to the products and services. This was really brought out in COVID, right? So I think for a lot of us here before, what we found, and this is a lot of the data that came back from customers and partners that came back to Microsoft. One of the things we realized is that there are a lot of people in the room here who don't declare, I think some of the panelists were here, that haven't declared that they had a requirement for assistive technology. So what do they do? So if you use the example of hearing. So people used to use what you call life hacks. What are life hacks? Life hacks is basically if I had my manager, I would go and sit in front of my manager and listen to them speak. And then through lip reading, I would understand what they're talking about. That was before COVID. That was before everybody was locked down. That was before we were all put in front of screens working from home. And we all know, and we've all been part of that, is that when we worked from home on screens, a lot of us never put our cameras on. So then you've got somebody who had a requirement, who had a hearing requirement, never disclosed it to the people that they needed to at work, and they don't need to. But all of a sudden put up their hand for help to say, I can't see my manager anymore. I can't see my coworkers anymore. I can't lip read what they're talking about. So they put their hand up for help. And those organizations put their hand up for help. They called people like Microsoft and said, what do we do here? So it was in that phase that Microsoft realized that we have a lot of technology that's already designed to help through assistive technology for hearing, for neurodiversity, for speech. It was all there. But the reality was it was a little bit harder to get to. It was 3 clicks away or 10 clicks away. It was sort of hidden behind a few other features. There was a huge learning for Microsoft to understand that a lot of the technology that we have isn't at the forefront of their design. So Microsoft went through a process themselves. So a lot of that was brought to the forefront. So that's what this sort of stat talks about, the fact that there are a lot of people in the workforce that are able-bodied, but don't disclose that they have a requirement for assistive technology. And so a lot of the focus work is about how do we work with companies to ensure that we drive an inclusive environment in recruitment and in the workplace to allow people to show up as their authentic self and to be able to show up and drive their own impact in their organizations. So when we look at inclusive organizations, we can see that organizations perform at 20% higher productivity. They're able to attract top talent, regardless of shape, sizes, and any walks of life. Able to do it whether they're able or not, able to recruit them. And we all know that for a lot of organizations, DE&I is always at the top of their priorities in the businesses. And there is an economic standard here that most companies are able to perform better on the profit margin, but that's not why they do it. They do it because they want to empower people within their organizations. So here's a couple of things here about design thinking, and I think somebody was talking about it beforehand. One of the things I'm going to talk about is the fact that we talk about built-in versus bolt-on. So we've seen a lot of technology. We partner with a lot of great, smart organizations that have technology. And so when we work with them, we realize that when they implement it into their organizations, accessibility is not in the forefront of their mind. They're looking for the outcome. So we all have done it here. You may have used an app. You may have used some sort of technology that belongs to a company, with a banking app or some sort of social media app, where you found that in order to access it or to use it, the experience wasn't that great. And especially for those who have a requirement for assistive technology, realize that this wasn't working. And so organizations then went, oh, you know what? We need to redesign this. So what happened? So they started redesigning and bolting on features. So what we found was a lot of companies that when we partnered with Microsoft, that we realized that 67% of defects were considered in the design thinking, which meant that there was an increasing cost of creating the app, creating the technology. What this tells you is that if accessibility is not in the forefront of the design principles at the beginning of the journey, if you start adopting it later, it costs you a lot more in time, money, and effort. And if you're trying to attract users, you lose a lot of them as well. So we had a couple of companies out there, which is on the public domain, Bank of America and Target. And these companies were actually taken to court by employees because the technology that they implemented, the technology that we're using for their staff, was not inclusive. And by not having inclusive technology, they felt that they were restricting them or creating an environment within their office or their businesses that put people at a disadvantage. And this is technology. This is about accessible technology. And so you realize that there were lawsuits that are being filed by companies that didn't really consider this at the forefront of their mind. So the previous slide was talking about the design principles of it. This slide talks about companies who actually realize if you don't put the right things in place and your employees are not happy, then this is an outcome that may happen. So what does Microsoft do about it? So in everything that we do in the DNA from Microsoft, in the products and services, and the messaging that we drive to our partners and customers, is led that we actually have a chief accessibility officer, Jenny LaFury, who quotes here, accessibility has become part of how businesses move forward, it's on the same degree of parity as anything else. Whether that's security, privacy, online safety, it's very significant. And the way that we think about that is in the same phase is that if you do not have assistive technology, it's almost the same sort of feel of digital currency. So if you can't use your banking app, if you cannot allow somebody to use any technology that you've designed with assistive technology, you're almost infringing in human rights because you have to make it accessible for everybody. And that's what we see in some of the technology that's been designed out there. But that's what Microsoft focuses on in the products that we provide and the partners that we partner with. So when we look at the experience for everybody, whether it's declared or not, Microsoft focuses on building, designing, implementing, and giving everybody the best experience in any services that it offers. So there's a couple of interesting facts here that I always liked about it. Now, here's an ownership of a fact for me. I joined Microsoft about 3 years ago. And in that time, until I joined Microsoft, this wasn't in my awareness zone about what assistive technology was. Like, I knew about it, but I didn't really know about it. So I didn't really understand how much of an impact it could be until I started really getting involved in this journey on how I could see people making, how assistive technology is making an impact. I'll give you a quick example. Down here in the booths, we've had a lot of you folks have come up and asked us, okay, so what's Microsoft's role? And we talk about the different features that are on our settings. And we talk about focus mode, we talk about neurodiversity, we talk about sticky keys, we talk about hearing, speech, text. All this was, a lot of you have said, oh, I didn't know that was there. I knew it was there, but I didn't realize that was the purpose for it. And so if I transfer into here, as I bring my awareness, you start to think about how things were designed. So, for example, the bendy straw. Everybody here has used a straw that bends. And in fact, in a lot of the packaging and products of the services of the food products that you may buy or drinking products that you may buy, it may come with a bendy straw. Did you realize that the bendy straw was actually came about as because of a requirement for somebody who was unable in hospital to lean forward to be able to drink from the packet? So the bendy straw was designed because somebody who had who was disabled needed a requirement. So the bendy straw was then designed after the fact. So a lot of technology that we start to see has actually come out as a result of a need, not a want. So come post-event, so a lot of the products that you may have, we've got some great labs here, I know Engineering Good has it as well, is when you design or have products such as the mouse, you can actually have, through the new age of a 3D printer, you can create your own mold, depending on what you need. So what that means is that any of the products that Microsoft has designed, you can go and co-create products to help fit for your need, for your body, for your type, in order to make sure you use the full services of that product. So we don't have it as a restricted services. So what's Microsoft's journey been on assistive technology? So this hasn't been something that was been designed overnight. This wasn't something that was just switched on in the last few years because we thought it was a fad. This has been driving since 1994 in the invention of sticky keys. And sticky keys is basically being able, people who want to go in there and press Control Alt Delete, may not have the ability to drive and to use Control Alt Delete with two hands or even one hand. Sticky keys allows you to do with one functional key to drive an outcome to it. So it's how it was designed. Windows 95, a lot of the features were actually designed with accessibility started to come in since Windows 95. Screen reader, same thing. Disability answer desk as well was actually developed to help organizations who have a requirement, who have a question. It's like, I've got a question about how to enable my employees on getting access to technology or being able to drive assistive technology. How do I do that? Well, we have a helpline. I didn't even know that until I joined Microsoft. I said, we have a dedicated helpline for organizations who need that help or to be able to get questions to those answers. The Bill Gates' commitment that started from 1997. We started driving disability ERGs within the organization. We have ability summits from 2011, where we actually celebrate all the technologies and services that our partners and ecosystems develop and what Microsoft develops to be able to drive up into the community. And then if you look at the mission statement to empower every organization and every person on this planet to achieve more, started from 2015, which is an all-encompassing statement. That's how it's been driven. So that's how Microsoft has been coming on this journey to help people of all requirements to be able to have the access to the technology so that they can drive their own outcome. So it's something which I've said before about accessibility built in, not bolt on. There are a lot of great products on the market. And when you come down to the booth, we'll be more than happy to help you and show you. So a lot of the facts, screen reader, narrator, neurodiversity, a lot of these features are actually built into the Windows 11 operating system. There are a lot of products out there that you can probably go and buy off the shelf, but it's built in with Microsoft. So hence why we have this slogan that accessibility is built in, not bolt on. So not treating it like an aftermarket surface. It's as you buy a Microsoft product, this design thinking has been built in from the very start. So closely, really wrapping up, we've got a couple of features in here that we talk about on the 6 pillars of what we drive: vision, hearing, neurodiversity, learning, mobility, and mental health. I won't spend my time talking about all of them, but just for a couple of the features that we have, from vision, hearing, and neurodiversity being just the top row here. When you come over to the stand here, you'll see there's an array of laptops here with our Windows operating system that's there. If I talk about neurodiversity as an example, neurodiversity, how do we address that? A lot of us now here work in a hybrid mode. Since COVID, we've been working from home. We're always on, right? You usually hear that terminology. We're always working on. And when you're always on between emails, phone calls, Teams chat, WhatsApp chats, there's a lot of pings that may be coming in on your laptop. So being able to help in that phase, to help those who don't need to have a bombardment of notifications that come on, there's something called focus mode. Focus mode switches all that off for you. So if you want to work for 30 minutes, you push that button, it switches it all off for you so you can focus on the work that you want to do. Now, a lot of people thought, oh, I thought that was just a feature so that I can just do my work better. But it was designed with neurodiversity in the background. We talk about hearing. There's a lot of the features within our Windows 11 operating system that you can get. You can switch on text-to-speech, narration. So for those who have a hearing impairment, everything could be read out to you in terms of text. So you can read it visually. Captioning will be switched on. With one click of a button, your whole screen you could see it in words. And you can watch any video and you'll have closed captioning will be automatically switched on. So these are within 2 clicks of a button, you're able to get that access for you. And the same thing with vision as well. We have features inside the Windows 11 operating system that allows you, if you have a visual impairment, it will be read back to you. So in reverse of hearing, you will actually have a screen reader read out everything that's laid out in front of the screen to you so that you're not missing out and so you know where to navigate to with total ease. So ladies and gentlemen, I could speak for hours on all the features that Microsoft have been designing in their operating system to give a total inclusive environment for every organization, for every person on this planet to achieve more. But I'm also mindful of time. So I'm going to leave you with a couple of things here. But the number one thing, the first thing I really want to thank is Engineering Good for putting on a fantastic show today. I think this is absolutely a brilliant, 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 brilliant place to really drive awareness awareness on why we need assistive technology and the role that companies like Microsoft play to help organizations, to help communities, to help societies to be able to do more and achieve more. It's such an important mission. So thank you very much for Engineering Good for putting it on. And I'm such a proud member and participant. And I took it with such opportunity to be here on stage to share and be able to talk to all of you and be able to have a Microsoft stand here to be able to educate and drive more awareness to it. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is that we've got some folks here from Microsoft that are here on the stand that are more than willing to show you in case you've got maybe a question that you're maybe embarrassed to ask because you think, hey, now that you've told me, how do I ask this question? So we're more than welcome to be here and to answer any of the questions, show you, educate you, and drive some awareness into all the features that Microsoft can drive to help you and do it from there. I'm going to leave with a video that really sort of talks about why we do what we do, so a bit of a top and tail. And then I hope to see you at the stall, and then we'll go from there. Thank you very much, folks. Enjoy the rest of the day.